This was a man who was, I suppose, really Marie's boyfriend. He's called Lieutenant Jack Peter, and he came from a very interesting family in England, in Essex. They built aeroplanes. His brothers built aeroplanes. None of them could fly, but they built an aeroplane and got in it and somehow made it work. So they were known as the Flying Peters. And he and Marie were really quite like school children. They were very innocent and naive. And the plan was that if they both survived the war, they were going to get married. And he was such a shy sort of gauche kind of schoolboy that he found it difficult to convey his feelings. But he did a really charming thing. He was an ace pilot. He would drop little presents. He would fly over in his plane. He would drop presents on parachutes outside nearby where Elsie and Marie could go and retrieve them. So he sent little bundles of love, little parachutes of love, down near the dugout where Marie was working with Elsie. And that's how their courtship progressed. He would drop jewellery and chocolates, and really, important and serious items of significance. And one day he dropped a little wooden doll in his own image. He'd carved it out of just a bit of old wood, and he'd painted it, and he'd given it a parachute, and that was him. He dropped himself into Marie's life. And astonishingly, that doll survived the war period, and it was given when Marie died by one of her friends with whom she was living in Argyll to, it's such a spooky story, to a descendant, a nephew of Jack Peter. So that doll went back to the Peter family after all those years through some marvellous set of coincidences. So Jack Peter died in 1917, and Marie's life really was in a very dark place at that time, and she just carried on. But Jack Peter, who really was the love of her life, was killed. He was a test pilot. He was trying out a new plane, which wasn't properly constructed. The wings fell off, and he nosedived into the ground and was killed straight away. So Marie's emotional life was in a complete turmoil at that point.